Hello folks, this is Solo speaking. You're listening to the preview video for Playoff Game 1 of Civ4 AI Survivor Season number 8. Let's go ahead and take a look at our map right here. Now, as our first playoff game of Season 8, this will be a little different from the games that you've been seeing thus far. Everyone in this game finished either first or second in their opening round game. So no more pool 1, pool 2 leaders versus unseeded leaders. No seeded versus unseeded. Everybody here has won or come in second place in an opening round game. All right, so here is our overall map. As usual, it's one of our Pangea maps. This one's relatively small. 3 AI civs in the north, 3 AI civs in the south. Let's go ahead and take a look at who we have in this game. First up, we have winner of game number 1 from the opening round, Hammurabi of Babylon. You know, Hammurabi is not one of our more popular leaders, and he hasn't really been that successful over the history of this competition, but he did win game 1. He did like this ridiculous 1v4 where he was ganged up on by all these other leaders in the game, and he still managed to pull it out. Now, we have since run the alternate histories for that game. That's where we go back and replay the map an additional 20 times. And Hammurabi's victory in game 1 seems like a wildly improbable result. He did not come even remotely close to winning any of the games when we did it 20 additional times. So it seems like he got pretty lucky in his opening round game, but he did win it, and he is here in the playoffs. As far as his civ goes, it's not one of the more interesting civs. Babylon does have really good starting techs. They have Babylon is agriculture wheel, and they have a unique archer replacement, the bowman, which is okay, not a great unique unit. Hammurabi himself has kind of a weird personality. He's basically a peaceful builder. He likes to build wonders. He kind of just wants to sit in the corner and build stuff. Problem is his traits are like hilariously ill-suited to that. He's aggressive organized, which doesn't fit that at all. So he's kind of a weird leader where his traits do not fit his personality. I don't suspect he'll be one of the favorites in this game, but I guess we'll have to see. He already surprised us once. Okay, next up we have the winner of game number 4 from the opening round. This is Musa, who, if you've watched any of our AI Survivor games, probably know is one of the all-time most successful leaders in the competition. There's a very strong argument he is the single best economic leader in Civ4, spiritual financial traits. I think the other candidate for that would be Darius. But here in AI Survivor terms, spiritual is a much better trait than organized for the AI because we play on deity, and organized trait doesn't really do that much because they already get a whole bunch of cheats. Musa is just insanely good at teching. Financial trait obviously is good at that, but his personality also leads him to just build cottages everywhere and race down the tech tree as fast as possible. He also has a really nice unique unit in the skirmisher, which helps defend him from early aggression. His biggest weakness is he has a very high piece weight. I believe his piece weight is 9, which means that most of the game's aggressive leaders are inclined to dislike him. But he's drawn a really good field here because most of the leaders in this game are also high piece weight leaders that are geared towards the builder side. So there's good odds that he's going to be able to dodge aggression, and anytime Mansa dodges aggression, he's always got a great chance to win. I don't love how many forests he has at his capital. The AI tends to struggle with forest-heavy capitals, but any game Mansa is in, he will always be one of the favorites to win. Next up, we have our winner of game number 7 from the opening round. We have Elizabeth, who I believe is the first game she's actually won, although she's done pretty well in some of the alternate histories. But first game, I believe she actually won on live stream. So Elizabeth, also a great teching leader. Unlike Musa, her traits do pull in slightly different directions. Philosophical, financial are kind of mutually exclusive in some ways because philosophical means you generally want to run more specialists, while financial is you want to work more cottages. But that said, there's still both good traits for teching, even if philosophical is not as useful here. As the English Civ, she has a couple good uniques, even if they come late. Redcoat is a great unique unit, even if it comes late. And then the stock market is a nice bank replacement. One nice thing that we've discovered about the England players is because they have a unique unit at rifling, they are a little bit more likely to research rifling tech. Unlike some of the other econ leaders, looking at you, Willem, who is not in this game, who just like to ignore rifling tech for ages on end. So that can end up helping. I will say this start is pretty well suited to Elizabeth's techs as well. England starts with fishing and mining, so the ability to, you can mine the marble tile until you research masonry. You can immediately improve the fish tile here. It's actually not a terrible capital in that regard. That said, it's also pretty forest heavy, so I don't know. How do we feel about Elizabeth having both stone and marble at her start? And yes, this is a naturally generated start. I did not put these in here. I don't know if this is good or bad for her. On the one hand, she might get an absolutely insane number of wonders, which synergizes well with the philosophical trait because you get more great people from that. On the other hand, if she goes wonder crazy, maybe she's not going to expand that well. And in England, that doesn't expand very well, could just get like outscaled later on in the game. So there's a lot going on here with this start. I don't know quite what to make of it, but I'll be curious to see what the community thinks. All right, next up then, we have leaders who finished in second place in the opening round. First up, Gilgamesh, who is second place behind Justinian in game number 2. So Gilgamesh is at the other end of the piece weight spectrum. Hammurabi, Mansa, Musa, Elizabeth, all very high piece weight. Gilgamesh is down near the bottom. I can't remember his exact score, but I think it's close to 0. He is definitely on the aggressive side. He's pretty militaristic. He has a pretty high war declaration likelihood, and he likes to train a lot of units. Unlike some of the other warmongers, though, he actually also has a fairly high build wonder preference. So he actually does like to go for wonders, and he might get this stone tile. So we might see him end up going for some wonders in this game. Also has creative protective, which is kind of a wonky trait combination, but it actually seems to work reasonably well for AI Survivor. Creative is very good for the settings that we play because the AI often struggles to expand its borders. And protective, not as terrible as you might think. It's kind of like middle tier for AI Survivor, even though it's the worst trait for like single player games. So Gilgamesh has a lot going on here. If he's going to win this game, he's going to have to conquer somebody because there's no way he can out-econ the rest of this field. So he's going to have to run over at least one other Civ, and he's going to likely have to go the conquest route. We'll see if he's able to do it. Okay, next up in this field, we have the second place finisher from game number 5. That is Pacal, who finished second behind Ramses, although we have run the alternate histories for that game, and Pacal was actually the strongest leader on that map, even if we didn't see it. He has drawn an absolutely gorgeous starting position here. Again, I want to make clear, I did not edit this starting position. If you see a start that looks really strong, it's because the map generator threw it out there. He has a wet corn, he has a plains cow and a grassland horse, and he has double gold tiles here at his capital. So he should have enough food to work these gold tiles as well. The starting techs for the Mayans also synergize pretty well with this. Mayans, I believe, are mining and mysticism. So the gold tiles can actually be researched, can be connected immediately with the starting worker. We'll have to get agriculture, animal husbandry. We'll see if Pacal goes for an early religion. No one in this field other than Pacal starts with mysticism, so he should be pretty guaranteed to land a religion. I suspect he will be the favorite for this game because his starting position is just like a god tier capital here. And of course, he also has the financial trait. Pacal is an unusual leader in the sense that he is low piece weight. I believe his piece weight is 2 or 3, so he's down at the bottom of the spectrum. But he's also a pretty peaceful leader. He actually does not like to fight wars that much, and he also likes to build wonders. So he's like this unusual combination of low piece weight but not militaristic. And that has served him well in a lot of these games. But it could actually be a detriment here because there's so many high piece weight leaders. He might actually have diplomatic problems in this game. Then finally, last but not least, we have Lincoln, the second place finisher in game number 8. He finished second behind, who was the winner of that game? Augustus. Took me a minute to think of that. Lincoln is a very straightforward leader. He's super peaceful. He is Gandhi light. I believe he is the second most peaceful leader in the game behind Gandhi. Very high piece weight, doesn't like to declare wars, likes to sit back and play peaceful. Problem for him is his traits are just not that good. Philosophical charismatic, I mean, they're okay traits, but like there's no way that Lincoln can win a build-off, like an economic competition with like Mansa Musa and his financial spiritual, or like Pacal with his financial plus expansive traits. Like Lincoln just loses that. So he basically tries to play the peaceful builder, but his traits are just not that well suited for it. The other problem is he's tied to the American Civ, which is one of the worst Civs in Civ4. I say that as someone who lives in the United States, but America's a really bad Civ because their unique stuff just comes way too late. The shopping mall, the Navy SEAL, they don't show up until the modern era, and like the games are almost always over by then. Starting techs are okay for America. America's, I believe, fishing and agriculture. So he will be able to connect both of these corn tiles at his capital with the starting worker. So like that's something. It's not a bad capital, but I suspect that he is not going to be one of the favorites in this game just because there's so many other good economic leaders. I mean, we have triple financial leaders in this game. It's hard to see Lincoln outbuilding those leaders. And he is not going to run over the map by conquest. Like, that is just not going to happen. So we'll see. He'll be in this game. He'll affect the outcome, and maybe he will surprise us. Everybody thought he'd be first to die in Game 8, and that did not end up happening. All right, so there's your background for this particular game as I show another overview of the resources on the map. This game will take place 1 week from when this video gets posted to YouTube. That will be on Friday, August 30th, 2024. Friday, August 30th. And that will be at our normal noon Eastern live stream time. If you're watching this, you almost certainly know this, but we do run a picking contest for this game. So you can guess what's going to happen, pick the leader, pick the first to die, pick the victory condition, etc. That will be linked underneath the video. And hopefully we will see some of you there for the start of the playoffs. My goodness, we're at the playoffs already for Season 8 of Civ4 AI Survivor. Until then, I hope everybody has a great week. Take care, folks, and I'll see you then.